Next up at UFC Vegas 107, we have a rebooked Ketlen Vieira taking on Macy Chiasson. This fight was supposed to happen way back at UFC Vegas 84, but it's been canceled, rebooked. They fought in between, and now here we are.
What's that flag? Welsh?
I forget. It might be Welsh. That is a dragon.
Yeah, she's from Texas.
She is. You didn't hear my rant about you and her on the Quick Pick video, but I basically said how tall she is and said the likelihood of Jacob taking a picture next to her is pretty low because
extremely tall.
She's very tall. They have the same haircut.
We're the same height.
And the same haircut, and that's just not a picture you want out there because it'd be obvious that she's very, very, very tall. And then I said you met Megan Anderson, who's also very tall, but no picture. No picture evidence.
You were terrified of.
I wasn't terrified. I wasn't going to. First, the way that went down, I said, dude, that chick looks like Megan Anderson. You're like, it is.
I took one. You're like, all doesn't that kind of look like Megan Anderson? And I went like this. It is Megan Anderson. It is. It's very obvious to tell. I was like, go fucking. You're like, whoa.
I just wasn't going to bother.
I was like, all right, get the fuck out of the way. I was like, hey, Megan, hey. Nice seeing you. She was like, hey. Because nobody else knew who the fuck she was.
At all. No one gave a shit.
Which
is crazy because it's not even fighter, not fighter. She's like hot.
I think it is intimidating because she is so tall and so hot.
Yeah. 100%.
With all the tattoos and everything, and Macy's the same way.
I talked to Macy for like 10 seconds on our flight back from Vegas. But because she flew Southwest from Vegas back to Dallas after UFC 303, we were on the same flight. Seemed like the nicest human being in the world. Like still glowing from her win. Couldn't have been happier.
I think you're going to realize
good job.
The longer that you stay out of New York City that most humans are just
nice not
people.
Assholes.
Yeah. Like most people, like if you just approach random people, are just normal, nice people.
I don't approach anybody. And for no reason other than like, leave them. I'm not trying to bother
Or like,
anybody.
what's this $100 going to get me?
Well, what? What was that?
That wasn't me. That was you.
Oh.
You don't just walk up to random girls with a $100 bill and say, what would this give me?
I have not tried that technique, no. We've got Ketlen Vieira. 3-2 in her last 5. She is coming off that decision loss to Kayla Harrison. And she is 14-4 in her career. And the line movement on this card, on this fight specifically, has been pretty wild. Ketlen Vieira, you can see, opened -145. She is actually an underdog on some sports books already. These is all over the place. She's taking on Macy Chiasson. 10-3 in her career. 3-2 in her last 5. She's on a 2-fight win streak. I mentioned I saw her on that flight home from UFC 303. That was last year, International Fight Week. She won that fight. She was losing the fight, but she got a cut. What are we laughing at?
Someone said, Angela, that's disgusting behavior. I agree. I wouldn't treat women.
What the fuck?
Especially if I had daughters, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, agreed. Should not be done. Macy was losing that fight to Mayra Bueno Silva, but then she landed a nice elbow, I believe, to open up a cut. They ended up stopping that fight the second round.
Beating the fuck out of Bueno Silva, by the way.
Well, she literally was down on the scorecards.
It was one round, and it was a pretty competitive round.
Well, all 3 judges saw it the other way, and she got the cut. I think Macy's good. I picked Macy to win that fight.
And this
she is long. Well, she is long. She uses her length really well. She wants to fight at distance. She has worked in some grappling as of late. She's got 12 takedowns in her last 4 fights alone. But she is fighting an also very large, very strong woman in Ketlen Vieira. She's powerful. She will strike. She'll move forward. She'll hold you against a cage. She'll drag you to the ground. She'll work some trips, some uchimatas. On top, she's going to keep that pressure there. She is big. She is athletic. And she is strong. She just lost to Kayla Harrison, where she basically did nothing. But the reality is, Kayla could end up being a world champion in just a couple of weeks. I mentioned this fight was supposed to happen a few months ago. At that point in time, Ketlen Vieira was a 3-1 favorite. The only things that had happened since this was supposed to be booked was Ketlen lost to Kayla Harrison, credible loss, and Macy beat Mayra Bueno Silva. And because of those 2 things, we now have a flipped line where Macy is the favorite instead of the 2.5 to 1 underdog. And I get it. She is long. She is streaking. She's making stuff happen. And we saw the evolution with the wrestling. But I just don't think she's going to be able to do those things against somebody as big as her, but physically stronger. So I think Ketlen Vieira's just sheer size is going to give Macy problems because Macy's used to being longer, used to being able to use that size and that reach, and that's just not going to happen here. Ketlen Vieira is the pick, but this could be a nail biter. What do you think, Jacob?
$9.99 from John Doe, no message. And I actually thought I replied to that, and I thought that was a private DM that I would reply to. It said "touch my bussy." But that was public.
What?
But that was, I didn't know. That was a joke. It's just a joke. Yeah, I actually kind of like Macy Chiasson in this fight. I don't that fight that Ketlen had, her last two fights. I understand it was Kayla, and that is what it is. But even that fight against Panny, it's like she should have came in and smoked Panny, and she resorted to just these takedowns and the control. And I understand she was trying to find the finish on the ground and stuff like that. And Panny isn't known for her grappling, so that was the least resistance path to victory. But even in that, it's like, God, I didn't really see the killer that I want to see and that you're going to have to bring into a fight against a girl like Macy Chiasson, because Macy Chiasson was a girl that was more tenacious than she was skilled. Earlier in her career, she was kind of the big girl that was tough and could come forward, but didn't really, almost like a baby deer, didn't really know how to use her length, didn't really know how to use her wrestling and stuff like that. Now it seems like she's starting to put it together. She's using her length in the striking. She's using her length and her wrestling abilities to get fights to the ground. And when she gets girls on the ground, she is a very big girl to have on top of you. She is long. She is rangy. She knows where her weight is supposed to be. You saw it against Bueno Silva. She got her to the ground, was controlling her, landed the elbow. The fucking cuts don't happen. You don't just fucking get blown on and then all of a sudden cuts randomly happen. She ate a fucking elbow and stopped the fight. That's how you win fucking fights. I don't understand that people are like, oh, what a bullshit fucking. She fucking elbowed her in the fucking face. And people are like, oh, Bueno was gonna win that fight. She won a competitive first round and was getting fucking smoked in the second round. It's like, what? And I had Bueno Silva in that fight, but it's like, what are we doing here? I think Macy, just from being more tenacious, being the more, having more tenacity in this fight is going to be the one that's going to win. I think she's going to get a couple takedowns in a round or two, and if she gets on top of Ketlen, I just don't think Ketlen is going to have the tenacity to get back to her feet. So it's going to be Macy by tenacity, and she's going to win this fight.
Yeah, listen, I agree with I mentioned that she won with a cut only because a lot of people tend to just look at the stupid dots on Tapology and be like, oh, she finished Mayra Bueno Silva. And yes, technically she did with a cut, but I don't want people to look at that and be like, oh, she knocked out. No, she didn't knock her out. That's why I pointed it out. But I agree with you. Like, she got that elbow landed in the second round, was having success. It caused a cut, and she won the fight because of that. Just like nobody's saying that Kobe was about to beat was about to beat Joaquin Buckley because that fight was stopped with a cut. People felt like, yeah, he caused the cut, so we were good. So I agree with you there. I am on the Ketlen side, though. I just think the size is not going to be the biggest advantage that Macy has, and that typically is. And Ketlen is strong as shit. And if Ketlen gets the takedowns or works the cage control, then I think Ketlen can win the minutes here. I think I'm going to
have a perfect card.
I hope so. I've never had one. You've had
3.
Have you had 3? I've never had one. I had a couple like 11-1s, but I've never had a true picked every fight correct card. I almost had a perfect card, a couple pay-per-views ago, but I just the main event was
I almost have one every week. Just a few losses.
So I one loss. I think it was the main event.
Oh, well, so you didn't have one.
Okay. Listen, Ketlen Vieira is the underdog on most sportsbook right now, but the favorite for DraftKings Fantasy at $8,200. I don't know if either one of them are going to be worth this price point unless we do get a lot of back and forth grappling exchanges. 5 points for a takedown. You get some control time. And if we do have, what are you making that face for? Whose face is that? Whose face is that?
What's your favorite animal?
To like eat or pet?
Could be the same one. It's the same one for Shopcop.
Yeah, that is true.
My favorite animal is a horse. My favorite food is horse meat.
I would say my favorite animal. I like big cats. Like if I could own a giant cat, I would. The problem is they're vicious. What about you? What's your favorite animal?
I just want to break down fights, man.
Okay, yeah. Let's try to keep this professional. Who did you pick? Macy, we're split on this one again. Jacob and I are split back. Nope, did we agree? Nope, back-to-back fights. We are split. If you need a tiebreaker, if you want to know what the rest of the crew thinks, go to WeWantPicks.com. You'll see my picks, Jacob's picks, Artem, and Bet Sam. Then we have an artificial intelligence, a robot, picking fights based solely off of historical data. You can unlock all of those picks, everybody's bets, and all the tools for $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And that's not $10 an event or $10 a week. That is $10 for an entire month. There's quite literally never a week, a day, or a month where we don't have picks, bets, and tools available for you. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. We do have a $2.70 super chat. Nope. Yeah, $2.70 saying, I bet Angelo's weight is over $2.70.
I would bet that as well.
There's no chance it's over $2.70.
A Monday night after Memorial Day weekend, I might take $2.80.
And we ate right before the stream.
What did you eat?
Tiff ordered Mexican. I didn't want it, but I ate it. She
eat?
Likes Mexican too much. She got me
the
some
entire
enchiladas.
lineup. Settle in, guys. Let's go through
Literally,
the entire lineup.
No. It was actually, it wasn't, I didn't do big work. It was two.
How many fupas?
It was two. Are you thinking of pupusas?
Now, how many fupas?
0. The fat upper pussy area? That one? Listen, I had 2 ground beef enchiladas and then a chicken enchilada, and that's it. That was the dinner.
Show with your hand the size of each.
They were like this.
And how did you eat them?
With a fork.
With a fork?
How the fuck do you eat an enchilada? With a fork. It's covered in shit. It's covered in sauces.
My favorite animal is a penguin.
Because they're all so short and can't fly? Fucking short, bitch.
Penguins used to be 6 foot tall. You can look it up.
What
Penguins
happened?
are awesome. I've met and pet.
I've met a penguin.
Quite literally, yes, I have.
I've never pet one, but you do get to feed them at the zoo.
I've pet baby penguins as well. They're the softest things in the world. I just think that they're just adorable. The way they kind of waddle around. They're a little clumsy. They're little. I just think they're better than a fucking big pussy.
Cat. Large cat. Before we move on, Butter Toast is making fun of how I say enchiladas. This was an epiphany that I had with a lot of people around this time last year. They're like, what'd you say? What do you call those?
Chipotle.
Chipotle. Yeah, I don't say the L. Chipotle.
Angelo says, and is 100% serious, he thinks it's chipotle.
Not chipotle. Chipotle.
Chipotle. That's what I'm saying. Chipotle.
No, now I know it's Chipotle, but I don't say the L. So normally I say.
But we had that same. I said that, and you were like, "Don't I do it? Don't I do it?" I'm like,
Chipotle.
It's not Chipotle. You were like, "Oh my God, Chipotle is my life."
Chipotle is my life.